Hi, welcome to Guide to Fluency, where we review language programs and apps to help you on your language learning journey. Today we're going to compare Pimsleur and Rocket Languages. These apps will be great for those looking for immersive audio lessons to reach a high level of fluency with a monthly subscription or lifetime package. But by the end of this video, you'll know which app is right for you based on your goals and how you learn best. We'll also actually be giving away a language course to our subscribers. It's really easy to enter, just subscribe and comment on this video. Also, if you find you want some more information, we have a full written article to go along with this video. The easiest way to find that is just to Google Guide to Fluency, Rocket Languages versus Pimsleur. So I want to start by going over Pimsleur's program and what your usual lesson will consist of. Then I'll give you a rundown of Rocket Languages format before sharing the 3 things we think work best about both apps. Pimsleur at its core focuses on immersive 20 to 30 minute audio lessons where you listen to a conversation between 2 fluent speakers. We love these styles of lessons for getting people conversational quickly by focusing on the 2 main ingredients of language acquisition, input and output. Speaking of output, you can keep practicing your pronunciation with the voice coach tool or practice vocabulary with some flashcards. You can also play speed games to test your recall, among other ways to keep reviewing the material from those core lessons. They offer all this for about $20 a month or $21 for all languages included. Rocket Languages' usual lessons begin very similarly with 20 to 30 minute audio lessons where you're walked through a conversation in your target language by an English-speaking instructor. After the audio lesson, you can complete a variety of reinforcement exercises, many of which are backed by Google's web speech tool. You'll use the speech tag for practicing vocab or replaying the conversation from the lesson with pronunciation feedback. Besides tons of speaking practice, Rocket also distinguishes itself from Pimsleur thanks to its dedicated grammar lessons that dive deep into your target language's rules with cultural insights sprinkled throughout. Unlike Pimsleur, Rocket only offers one-time purchase lifetime packages. You can purchase each level for $150 or the entire Rocket bundle for $450. However, Rocket often offers discounts or promotions, so the cost is usually $180 for their full program with all levels included. Pimsleur isn't as good about running discounts, but they do offer a 7-day free trial. I'll have a link to that and any discount codes we can find down below in the description for both apps. We keep those updated with the latest promos out there, so be sure to check that out before making your decision on which program you want to go with. Now, let's talk about the big pros for each. Then we'll let you know which of these apps we ultimately prefer over the other. Let's start with Pimsleur. Pimsleur and Rocket are a great choice for auditory learners, but we have to give it to Pimsleur for their audio lessons. This means we think Pimsleur better allows you to multitask and slip your phone in your pocket and complete an audio lesson while doing things around the house. If you're driving around from point A to point B, you can take advantage of Pimsleur's Apple CarPlay integration. If your days are usually pretty busy, Pimsleur makes it super easy to knock out lessons and make progress in your target language. Another feature worth mentioning is Pimsleur's voice coach tool. The voice coach is pretty straightforward. It records your speech and then offers feedback on your pronunciation. It's not very different from Rocket's speech tech, but Pimsleur's coach is pretty impressive and its challenge mode is a great way to get more out of this tool. While we'd like to see it spread out more across the platform, this is a great way to dial in your accent after an audio lesson with targeted practice that folds seamlessly into the Pimsleur method. Next for Pimsleur, we want to make the case for their more immersive approach compared to Rocket's mixture with a direct approach through their grammar lessons. When learning another language, we think the first thing you need is input. Your brain has an intuitive framework for language acquisition that can naturally break down words into different sounds with different meanings, but we lose our ability to distinguish unique sounds in foreign languages over time. By immersing ourselves in the language without trying to translate back and forth between English, the goal is to subconsciously acquire the language like we did our native languages. That said, you'll still learn about necessary differences in rules and structure, but Pimsleur will try to have you absorb this intuitively first, which we think is great and lines up well with the research, but this may come down to preference. Now let's switch sides to talk about Rocket Languages, and this was a little more challenging than normal. Rocket and Pimsleur both use audio lessons as the main course of their lessons, and we didn't really have a preference between them. What stood out to us was Rocket's more robust audio lessons in terms of features. They have a transcript you can follow along with, which Pimsleur doesn't. And just beneath the lesson, there's an opportunity to replay the conversation again with the speech tech to grade you. And that brings us to the next pro for Rocket. The way they squeeze in high-quality speaking practice with Google's web speech tool across their whole platform. Compared to Pimsleur, that keeps their voice coach as a separate exercise tool. Rocket is very generous with their speaking practice. Input is said to be the most important way to learn another language, but we think that output is an often overlooked part of language acquisition. This leads to those awkward situations where a person might be able to read or hear another language, but they aren't able to effectively communicate themselves. Getting high-quality speaking practice backed by the speech tech will be a great way to get you confident in your speaking and start dialing in on your accent. Finally, for Rocket is another place you'll find some speaking practice sprinkled in, the language and culture lessons. With these lessons, you switch from trying to pick up the language more intuitively in audio lessons to getting direct grammar coverage that's more thorough than we've seen with other programs. They have some listening and speaking practice mixed in, as well as cultural notes that highlight some of the differences between the cultures you might encounter with your target language. And we think there are certain learners out there who will need more direct grammar coverage like Rocket provides. Now that you know the difference between these apps, which app should you go with? Well, we think it's about preference. Both apps are based on high-quality input that should get your brain to work on breaking down the language into sounds you organize intuitively. Because of this, we rate both of these programs higher than just about any other apps out there, and think they can help learners on their way to a B2 or C1 level of fluency. But when it comes down to it, we think Pimsleur is the immersive learning choice. You'll knock out audio lessons on your commute thanks to their CarPlay app, get very nice speaking practice with their voice coach, and all without too much English guidance or grammar rules to drag you down. Rocket, however, is our overall pick. On top of similarly great audio lessons, you'll also find more speaking opportunities throughout your lessons, including being able to replay the conversation from your lesson with pronunciation tech, and those grammar lessons. So that's why we have to give the edge to Rocket Languages here for being a little more robust than Pimsleur. So which app do you think is right for you? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe and like as well for a chance to win one of these courses in our monthly giveaway. Best of luck, everyone. See you next time.